Hey, hello, and happy Thursday. It is Debbie Peterson of Getting to Clarity. And today on the Way Forward show in your career, we're talking about stress and burnout. So, stress and burnout in your career. Maybe some days it's just you feel like it's a bad day. Every day is a bad day. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort just to get out of bed, right? So, to get up and go and do it again. Maybe it shows up like emotional exhaustion. You're just fatigued all of the time. You're tired. You just can't seem to get out of that, to get any energy. Things that you enjoyed, you just don't enjoy anymore. And you may be thinking, what's wrong with me? It could be an indicator that you're on the road to burnout. So, and as a lot of times as high performing professionals, we think that we just have to suck it up. We have to power through it. We have to prove to ourselves that we're strong and that we can get through this. So, it becomes an objective to push through it and just keep going. And, sometimes that is part of the problem. That's part of the big problem. And it is a problem. The World Health Organization says that burnout is actually, it classifies it as a medical condition. It is actually a diagnosis. So, and it costs companies and our country billions of dollars in health, health bills and costs and days off of work, things like that. So, but it also has an impact on you physically. It has an impact on you physically. You can experience headaches. It can be, in addition to the fatigue, upset stomach and other gastrointestinal issues. It can show up in you, mentally, where you feel disengaged, where you feel that, you're unfulfilled and helpless. And, again, just things that you cared about, you don't care about anymore. I mean, even emotionally affecting you with anxiety and depression. You feel like you don't have control. And certainly spiritually, that you just don't feel connected to things like you did before, and especially to your work. So, stress, chronic stress in your work environment and career burnout. People say, well, I'll just take some time off. And maybe if I take a couple of days and I just have a chance to kick back and read a book and relax for a while, that's the answer. And it's not. Because if you're to the point where you are experiencing chronic stress in your career, if you're experiencing burnout in your career, it is because it's a long-term symptom. It is stress that has been present in your professional life for so long, and you haven't done anything about it. You haven't managed it well. You're managing everything else. You're serving everyone else. You're making sure that everything else is taken care of except for you. And and I know this, and I speak to this because this was me. In my corporate career, at one point in my corporate career, I felt like I was living in a jar with a lid, so I can see outside of the jar, but I can't access it. I can't get to it. I can't connect to it. And, all of the things that I really enjoyed, none of it brought me joy anymore. And it was so scary because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even get a full breath. I mean, my mind would just wake up in the middle of the night and it would race for hours. And the scariest part was I would wake up in the morning and I wouldn't, I look in the mirror and I wouldn't recognize myself. It's kind of like, who is this person? And how do I get back to what I was? I had no idea. And that was the worst part. So I want to share with you today some strategies and some tips. If you feel that you are on the road to burnout, if you feel like some of the habits that you have just aren't serving you well, and that, and that's the whole thing. At some level, we realize that, this could possibly catch up with me. It's like we see the wall coming, the wall that we're going to hit, and we're almost helpless to do anything about it. But there are some things that you can do. And so the 3 tips that I want to share with you today are this. Discover what is meaningful. And I'm not talking exactly, purpose and passion, although that can be part of it, but let's chunk down and not make it so big and figure out in your career, what is meaningful to you? What is it that you enjoy doing? What are the things that you like to do? What are the things that are just effortless, that you could do it all day long? It's just easy. Other things that people compliment you on, like, wow, can you teach me how to do that? If you had a chance to teach somebody anything, what would you teach them? So that's kind of an indication of things that are meaningful to you. What are the things that are a priority for you? And if you don't know that, there are some exercises that I can take you through that can help illuminate what those priorities are. So quickly, what I would like you to do is let's do a priority as far as what you're focusing on. What are the main areas that mean the most to you? Because what happens when we get stressed and we get overwhelmed is because we are focused on everything, okay? We think we just have to get it all done. We're responsible for everyone and everything. And that is just a recipe for disaster. So what I'd like you to do is just think about the 6 areas of life. So if we did that, we would have career, we would have health and fitness, we would have spirituality, we would have professional development, we would have relationships, and we would have family. So I'll say that again. Career, health and fitness, spirituality, professional development, relationships, and family. So as you think of those 6 areas of life, I want you to prioritize them 1 through 6, 1 being the most important, 6 being the least important, knowing that they're all important to you, or maybe all important to you. What comes out at number 1? What comes out at number 6? So I want you to think about that. The second piece of this is that I want you to take those same 6 areas of life, career, health and fitness, spirituality, professional development or personal development, relationships, and family. And I want you to prioritize them according to how you spend your time. And that can be a very illuminating exercise because you get an idea of, well, this is what I'm saying is most meaningful to me, but yet how I'm choosing to spend my time is saying something else. So that will give you some clarity around what should your focus be. And then instead of focusing on everything, focus where the big gaps are between what is most important to you and, where it is that you spend your time. Put some energy into figuring out how to bridge the gaps in those areas. So finding out what is meaningful to you, maybe by even doing that exercise, what it is that you're going to focus your time on professionally, according to the answers of these different questions and exercises, and what it is that you value. Because when you go to work, you don't go to work because of the tasks that you get to do or the roles or responsibilities that you have. You go to work and you feel satisfaction and fulfillment because of how you experience delivering performing that role or performing those tasks. So thinking about your values and what must be present in your career so that you can make decisions towards what is meaningful for you. So that is the first tip. Focus on what is meaningful. And that will start giving you a focus away from stress and burnout. The second tip that I want to give you is creating more mindfulness. And mindfulness is simply the act of being present in a moment. And that, believe me, can be tough. And when you train your brain to be present in the moment, then it's like a muscle. And the more you use that muscle, the easier it is that you can do. But when you can train your brain to be present in the moment, that means that you can pull yourself back and know that where you are now, that you are perfectly fine, that you are safe, that in this moment, everything is right. Because what happens is stress and anxiety is a future-based fear. So we're looking out ahead of us and we are speculating. We don't have information. We may have some information, but we are speculating on what is going to happen. And that is causing us stress and anxiety. So mindfulness can be super easy. If you're making coffee or tea, focus on that actual steps of making the coffee or the tea. Be mindful in that moment. So the preparation of it and smelling it and holding the cup and drinking it will bring you back to a present moment. Mindfulness will help you with your stress and anxiety, and especially that causes burnout. So meditation is another way that you can do it as well. And I'll tell you, I always thought I couldn't meditate. But meditation isn't exactly what you think it is. It is easier than you think. It's a process, and again, it is a muscle. And I'm not going to get into meditation because there are a zillion meditations on YouTube and apps that you can do it with, but that could be an option for you. So the third tip I want to share with you is to master your self-care. Taking care of yourself has to happen first. And I know that you've heard this, that you know this on some level, that you can't give from an empty cup, right? But I'm going to say that you shouldn't give from your cup at all, because if you are taking out of your cup, filling others, that means you're depleting yourself. So what I'm going to say is that you have to give from the overflow of your cup. Okay, so taking care of yourself enough, knowing that you are worthy enough to take care of yourself so that you can give from your overflow, knowing that any other option is really contributing to your stress and to your burnout. So making a concerted effort to put you first in your self-care. And it doesn't have to be complicated or cost a lot of money. Going outside and connecting first thing in the morning, just being outdoors. There's something that tends to make your problems a little smaller. It is maybe journaling. It is even starting small, not starting huge, drinking one smoothie shake a day instead of planning out this whole diet that you've got to figure out, okay, is it keto or low carb? And, here's all the recipes I need to have. And here's exactly what I need to do. Just start small. Anything that you can do consistently is going to serve you well. So maybe it's walking to the end of the block at back. Maybe it's 5 minutes at meditation. Maybe it's just standing up every hour for just a couple of minutes and getting yourself into that good habit. All of those things are taking care of you because, you deserve this. And this is well within the choices that you have to make. So the 3 tips again are discover what is meaningful to you personally and professionally, and prioritizing it so you know where you need to be spending your time instead of focusing on everything. Creating more mindfulness, being in the moment, being in the present instead of letting your brain go out into the future, speculating and creating anxiety that leads to stress and to burnout. And the third is mastering your self-care, putting yourself first, doing tiny things every single day that you can then build upon to be a better version of you. And think about the example that you will set for others, for your coworkers and colleagues, for your children, for your spouse or your significant other, for the people that are in your social networks. When you stand in your power and create this for yourself, that you make a choice to turn away from stress and burnout and make choices that serve you. So I hope these 3 tips were helpful for you. And if you would like to hop on a call to figure out what is meaningful for you in your career, what next steps may be, what it is that you want to focus on, I would be delighted to have that conversation with you. And if that is something that interests you, then I would encourage you to go to claritywithdebbie.com, grab some time on my calendar. I would love to go through and help you discover your career values, or do an exercise that would help you uncover what's next. And if that's something for you, then I'd love to connect further. So until the next time, here is wishing you the clarity and less stress that you deserve, and have a really great day. So bye-bye for now. Take care.